have my cue card back because TJ found his. And harmony was restored once again in the land of ESL, and everyone rejoiced. It's time for Week 6 semifinal number 2 between Magicamy and FlyBird. It's two Asian players, but one of them has been making many splashes over the past couple weeks, primarily because she just took out Trump just a few minutes ago. Magicamy is now in the semifinals once again, has once more gotten an invite to next week, Week 7, but more importantly, if she can beat FlyBird, she'll be meeting her teammate Hyped in the finals to play for a spot and a seed to California. We pay for the travel for the players to come here to California. We have about $16,000 that's promised there to try to get the 8 players in there, and then $20,000 total. So there's a lot of money being tossed around for this first season of ESL. Let us know what you guys think, and there's also a chance for you guys to sign up as well. TJ, how can I do that?
Yeah, you guys can head over to esl.gg/legendary series to get all the info. The next cup is actually happening tomorrow, so there's usually about 400 to 500 players that play every single week. There's a $500 prize pool as well. So not only are you playing for a cash prize, but you're also, if you make it to the top 4, you qualify for that Challenger Finals at the end of the week for a chance to play in the Legendary Series match day, which is what we're broadcasting today.
So that's going to bring us to our second to last match, where there's no money necessarily being played, but there's a lot of points and pride on the line. Now, FlyBird, this is his first gig. This is the first time around here. He's going to bring Warlock, Druid, and Warrior, and it's going to match up against the Druid, Mage, and the Warlock. Oh boy, we get to see Handlock versus Warrior again.
And it always is the third match.
It's always the one because it's like you just finished watching it. They might queue it up again, and they might queue it up again.
Yeah, this I can see this going to a 5-game series and seeing 3 Warrior versus Handlock. But this first matchup, it's going to be a rough matchup for Amy, and one that she's struggled with so far today, being Handlock versus Druid.
Yeah, I think she absolutely did not want this lineup at all. I think this is the worst matchup for her possible. The Druid against the Handlock is not what she wanted. I guess at least it could have been worse with the Warrior versus the Freeze Mage.
Indeed.
But we'll see. Maybe the Druid can sneak in a very quick win if it can combo out that Handlock and shut down whatever FlyBird's trying to do. We're about to start game number 1. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Tweet at ESL Hearthstone and tweet at Froda and at AzumoQT. Let us know what you guys are thinking about the format, how you guys enjoying the games, as well as some of your favorite moments, because we certainly have been having fun too.
It's been a really fun day so far, I'd say. Maybe besides Week 5, just because of Darkwanics, bringing some fun matchups. This has definitely been one of my favorites, so excited to see the outcome.
That's still my favorite series.
Yeah,
Darkwanics games.
Yeah, just because we had no idea what was in that deck at first. No idea, even as the day went on when we knew the deck, like the decision-making that went into a lot of the plays that he did.
Oh.
Oh.
She has a Grove Tender in her Druid deck.
Yeah, she had a Grove Tender in her Druid deck in Week 5
Oh, that's
as well.
right. The previous week, too. That's funny. I wonder if she can mill the Handlock player. No, you can't. She's going to be too far along with the mana curve. This is most likely going to force another mana crystal, I think. Wait, what happens if you give a mana crystal to your opponent?
You would...
This is interesting. I haven't played with Grove Tender too much. If you give a mana crystal, then your opponent can coin out the Drake. Because then they have 3 mana. Yeah, if you Grove Tender a card, they can play a Mountain Giant next turn. If you Grove Tender a mana crystal, they can't play Mountain Giant next turn. Okay, I'm convinced now.
Okay.
Because if they draw a card, Mountain Giant's gonna cost 3 next turn, and he's gonna have 3 mana.
You convincing yourself just convinced me.
Good. I'm glad you're following the system.
Yeah.
So
it's still it's sort of a weird card to play regardless.
I mean, maybe she's not even thinking about playing it because you have to choose one. You can't just play the 2/4 body. But
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be ramping the mana crystals here. Ramping a card would be a grave mistake.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
Oh boy.
Well, that gets a Mountain Giant a turn quicker than FlyBird was expecting. And that makes it so another one can come down next turn as well. That's... FlyBird's got to be feeling pretty good about that. Thank you very much.
Huh. Well, I mean, when Amy has this kind of start and your opponent has 2 Mountain Giants and Twilight Drake, it's just going to be very hard to stop. Well, I have no idea what to even do. If you're Druid, you're just going to get bullied for a very long time. Well, Sylvanas actually could change things.
It could be a swing card.
No, almost certain. Oh, never mind. There's a Iron Beak Owl.
You can hope that it'll be a swing card. But we know that it most likely will not be. And this could be a pretty big play here. What do you do with that extra 2 mana, though? Oh, sorry. Extra 1 mana. 2 mana with
I
the
suppose
coin.
if you just a Humby Chow, it's okay.
Okay. So holding on to the coin.
Yeah, Zombie Chow is fine. It's like enough to challenge what's on the board.
Or
too.
holds. That way your Twilight Drake is stronger for the following turn.
I have no time for games.
So this is what's going to hurt. It's like the 2 giants smacking, and then there's the Iron Beak Owl as well.
So Iron Beak Owl, Smack, Coin, Shadow Flame? Or is that too
No, just
bold?
Twilight Drake as well on top of it.
Okay.
It's fine. 410. Like this is just starting to snowball way out of control here. Wait, interestingly enough, Sylvanas still does a lot of damage to the point where you can actually still stabilize here if you're Druid. You just Wrath.
Wrath and Keeper? Well, if you do that, then you won't have Keeper for the Twilight Drake.
Twilight Drake. Maybe you Savage Roar,
That's a possibility as well.
but then you give up the rest of your turn essentially.
And you're still taking a lot of damage in that situation.
Right.
I guess you're
Maybe
not really in much danger.
maybe
but
you
still.
silence. I don't know. It's a little bit hard to say.
Still though, that's at least she's able to deal with the threats, but she's
How has
used
she
so
escaped
much.
with no damage this like so far? That's just mind-boggling. She's gonna hope. I think she's gonna hope that her opponent also taunts something up and use Black Knight to swing it.
That could allow her to have an opportunity to come back in this game, but at this point, why does FlyBird even have a need to taunt something up? I mean, maybe with a Defender of Argus to try and get a more favorable trade, but that's the only scenario that I could think of where FlyBird would even have to do that. It would just seem unnecessary.
Well, it generally feels like Handlock's in full control right now. I really don't feel like FlyBird's in danger whatsoever. If he simply pushes with like Dr. Boom and just starts shoving against Druid. If he wants to dig again and be like on the side that he wants to start making sure keeping his hand full, he can tap and then Sludge Belcher, but I generally think you should just start being aggressive against Druid, right?
Yeah, I think Dr. Boom is this is a fantastic turn.
Tap Belcher.
In a way, I guess you do want to get deeper into your deck. Because after Dr. Boom, you don't have too many options as far as plays go. You have Sludge Belcher, but pretty much nothing else. Everything else is a little bit situational. He's still
He hovered
debating.
over his Ancient Watcher as if he wanted to taunt that up, but that feels a lot worse than Sludge Belcher.
I might actually think about throwing my Owl into the Ancient of Lore.
I don't think you have to hedge your bench against swipe, because this is not a good swipe target at all. There's really nothing that you can do.
But this isn't a good anything board for Druid.
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying it's not necessarily like an ideal scenario where like Swipe can do much stuff here.
That's true.
So I think Amy is gonna have to use some combo to clear here. It doesn't look like she's gonna be able to get away without it.
Still got to go about it the right way, and it's still going to leave stuff on the board.
Right. It seems to be the best course of action. She might even be in danger of dying if she doesn't end up clearing because of just how much damage exists.
We'll see how she goes about this.
Time waits for no one.
Okay, so she's just going to kill off Sylvanas then.
Okay. It's this is taking the maximum amount of power off the board, as well as getting rid of Sylvanas, pesky Sylvanas.
So that way Dr. Boom can be
Yeah.
strong as possible.
Twilight Drake is pretty problematic as well because it's a higher health total. But I think that's the most efficient way to use the combo in that situation. Still though, Magicamy is in a pretty bad spot.
Well, because Dr. Boom comes out and she lost all of her initiative. The way she can seize it back is if FlyBird plays Dr. Boom and she draws a big game hunter along with some ways to be defensive. Because she's looking at dying next turn right now.
Yeah. And I guess this is
Or unless she's playing Poison Seeds.
and I guess this is the nature of the matchup. It's just so hard. When you're bringing a Druid into a format like this, expecting players to bring Handlock, you're wanting to dodge the Handlock and try and get into like a Warrior matchup, but
The fact that she had both of the players draw a card is what really did her in. The problem is that with Grove Tender, either way you're ramping Warlock. Warlock ramps through their card draw early on, so that way all of their minions get way stronger, like Twilight Drake and Mountain Giant. So Handlock isn't necessarily a control deck, it's more of a ramp deck. And you just ramped Warlock on both ends.
yeah. And Handlock just ramps harder because their ramp is like easier to access
Right.
than Druid, because Druid relies on having the draw of Wild Growth. Whereas Handlock's ramp is sort of innately built into the class. You do have to draw into your threats, but it's a lot easier to draw into the multiple threats that Handlock has than it is to draw into Wild Growth early enough for it to be effective.
I think FlyBird was trying to calculate if he had lethal opportunity, but
If a bomb hit face, it
it's
would
like
be.
looks like he doesn't have it.
Yeah, if a bomb had hit face for 2, he could have Hellfired to push through. But it did not. And so now that's just really awkward. Still though, in a good spot. Amy's
Yeah,
just sort
I
of like
don't think
bleeding
Amy
out.
can do anything from here. She still can't deal with Dr. Boom. She's on her last 10th of health. And everything she's drawing is just, like, it's just to draw another card so that way she can do something. So that's going to mean FlyBird takes the first game here. And we're going to go straight into Mage versus Druid. That's also a tough matchup.
I think this outcome was pretty expected. There's just not too many opportunities, and you said it. She sort of put the nail in her own coffin there early on by allowing for that card draw. I guess she thought that her hand wasn't great, and hoping that her opponent didn't have the Mountain Giants early on. It could have been one of the only ways that she maybe gained a little bit of advantage in the matchup. But overall, just really tough. So, again, like you said, this matchup's going to be tough for her as well. But I don't think it's quite as bad.